That was just like, come on. And look, I mean, we know that's a big part of why he left Cleveland. So, you know, it is what it is. But the Celtics need to be concerned about Kyrie Irving and his future there for a few reasons. One, he will be a free agent, as you said, in 2019. He's not going to sign a contract extension, and I get it. He could lose anywhere from $80 to $100 million.
That's a no-brainer.
If he resigns. Yeah. Exactly, a no-brainer. So I have no problem with that. I'm sure the Celtics understand that. However, you can come out and say, no, I'm not signing now because it just doesn't make financial sense. However, I love it here. This is where I want to be long term. We got a great coach. We got great talent. It's a great organization. This is where I want to play for the next several years. So he gave us none of that.
That was going to be my ass.
I don't want him to be phony.
Play the game?
No, I don't want him to be phony. Be what you are. Be honest. And apparently, he doesn't see Boston as the place he may stay long term. That's why they need to be concerned. Remember, Boston was not on the list that he gave to Cleveland when he wanted to be traded. It was New York, Miami, San Antonio, Minnesota. So the fact that he could walk away from you in a year and you get nothing in return should scare them. Game 7 against Cleveland, he wasn't on the bench. Now, he could have had that surgery weeks before and been able to be there for Game 7, or even later and been able to be there for Game 7. The fact that he wasn't there for Game 7, those are 3 reasons they should be concerned about his future. What they have to do, forget LeBron James. What Danny Ainge needs to do is sit down with Kyrie Irving, have a heart-to-heart. What do you see yourself here long term? I get it that you don't want to sign. You shouldn't sign right now. But we want to build around you. We want you to be a part of our championship future. Do you see yourself here 4 years from now?
This is what I
And
love.
if he can't give you that honest answer, then you have to explore trading him because you can't let him walk for nothing.
But this is what I love about Kyrie. He's his own man. And he's not going to give you those answers that people are looking for to make them feel good when that's not really he's not.
But I'm fine if he's not there, but let me know.
The same way he told Cleveland, I don't want to be here with the greatest player on earth. I don't want to play with him anymore, so I respect that. Now, if I'm Boston, I'm not concerned. They just went to the Eastern Conference Finals, lost in 7 games, right? But they're not getting anywhere without Kyrie.
They just got to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Did they win it? Did they win?
How can you not be concerned if you might lose him?
Because if they could get to the championship or win next year and Kyrie decides to move on, I'm fine.
How are you fine?
I'm not getting rid of him prior to that because I'm trying to utilize him, Chris, to get to the finals. So if I get Kyrie for 1 year,
you can trade for him.
I'm not trading him. Why would I trade him if I'm
so you can get something in return? Look, what did the Pacers do? Paul George was out of there. Paul George was out of there. He was honest with them, just like you said, Kyrie. I'm cool with being honest. But Paul George told them, look, I'm not going to re-sign here in Indiana.
There's a difference.
He allowed them to trade him. They got Victor Oladipo and actually improved.
But Chris, what's the difference? The difference is Kyrie's won a championship. He brings that championship pedigree to these young players in Boston. You won't win a championship as great as those guys played. They won 1 road playoff game during the playoffs, right? They won one road playoff game, and that game,
I get that they're better. It's not like they're going to give Kyrie away. They would get something for him.
What are you going to get?
Rob, so you're saying you're worried about them losing him?
No, I'm saying if I'm Boston, I'm just going to hold on to him, make another playoff run, try to win a championship, and if he wants to bounce, let him bounce.
For nothing.
For nothing.
That doesn't happen.
I'm with Rob. I'm not concerned about losing Kyrie Irving simply because the brand of what we're making up over here is not based on one player. It's evident. They are going to have success with or without Kyrie Irving. To your point, he puts them over the edge. Gordon Hayward now helps them and gets them over the edge. Potentially, it's yet to be seen.
Kyrie was healthy. They would have knocked LeBron out of the playoffs.
I don't know if they knock him off, but they have a better shot because they have another weapon, a guy with experience who have been there in a Game 7, who has always been their clutch. So for me, it allowed them to see what they really have without Kyrie Irving. So I don't think that they're worried about it at all. To your point, yeah, you could get something for him and it would benefit you. But your team is built, number one, around Brad Stevens, not around a player, a specific player. This is a coach who we got him first. He's the longest tenured Celtic there, outside of Marcus Smart, a player. Brad Stevens was there first, and they built the team around him, which you don't see this in sports anymore, building a team around a coach. This is the way the Boston...
It just kind of happened that way.
It did happen that way, and they're rolling with it. And the trust that Brad Stevens has been able to put and give to these other players, the Terry Roziers, the Marcus Smarts, the Jason Tatums, Jaylen Brown, all these guys, they went from averaging 11, 14, and 15 in the regular season to 17, 19, and 18 in the playoffs. They got better, not because Kyrie was not there, because they got embedded with trust. They got pushed to the limit by a LeBron James. They got more experience because the lack of presence of Kyrie being on the court. To your point again, I think Kyrie puts them over the hump.
I actually
look. Go ahead, Jen.
I just don't mind the comments that he said to the media about playing with. I know it was a lukewarm response, but I actually think it was a smart response because no matter what he says, we're going to sit here and dissect it.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, as a player, you got to be smart when you're talking to the media and anonymous sources.
Number one, what he said about contractually is fact. Like it
About
just,
not
yeah,
right.
it just wouldn't be.
I agree.
It wouldn't be smart. So there's your truth. And then
I think the whole thing was true.
Yeah, and then what he said about, or the lack of what he said, or information that he gave about playing with LeBron. Look, we know how he feels.
You want to know.
You know how I really feel. I don't have to tell you that. I left.
I'm in a green and white uniform now for a reason.
I get it, and I get where both of you are coming from. You know, they're a good team even without Kyrie Irving. And to your point, if you have Kyrie, you have a shot to get to the finals and maybe win a championship.
Just maybe.
next
I'm
year.
just saying. Right.
My point is this. He is also an asset. And if you lose him for nothing, that's the risk. I'm not saying I would want to trade. If I had my druthers in Boston, I would want to keep Kyrie Irving
Okay, let me throw
with this team.
But let me throw this out to
I'm just saying
you.
the chance that he could walk. Now, if he has dinner with Danny and says, I do want to stay here, I'm just not signing right now, but this is the place I want to be, you got everything I need, then there's no problem.
Okay, how about he stays with the young group? They win the championship. Okay, I'm just throwing it out there. He wins the championship. And then it's up to, then if I'm Danny Ainge, A, I got what I wanted, which was to win a championship. And B, as Kyrie, that you got us to the mountaintop, are you now leaving to go somewhere else when you just help engineer, us winning a championship?
I get what you're
See
saying.
what I'm saying?
Yep,
so
yep.
if I'm Danny
That's
Ainge,
a risk. Are they
it
gonna
is a
win it?
risk. It
Are
is
they
a
your
risk.
favorite?
No, but I like them out of the East if he's healthy and the group that they had with the experience that they just got from this past playoff run.
I think we're kind of missing something here too, with him saying I've kind of seen everything in this business in regards to him playing with LeBron James again. Like you talk about a meeting with Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge let it be known after the season. I think it's absurd that people think that we should just get rid of Kyrie Irving
a lot of
and don't
people
need
said
Gordon
that.
Hayward
Yeah.
now. I think that's foolish. No, that's why we acquired them, so we can be better. Yeah. So Danny Ainge and the Boston Celtics, they want to keep Kyrie Irving.
And he should.
But there's this looming cloud that LeBron James is available. LeBron James, what if that meeting happens and Danny Ainge needs to tell Kyrie Irving, look, we're not interested in LeBron James.
If he needs to tell, so
then I think
that would be a part of Kyrie
then I
saying,
think
okay,
Kyrie's,
I get you. Okay,
I think
that's a good
Kyrie's
point.
mentality changes now of, I do want, but until you tell me that that's not even an option, my door's wide open
No,
too.
that's a good point. That's a good point. Now, look, a lot of people think Kyrie wants to be in New York. And obviously, like I said, they were one of the 4 teams on his list. He grew up in New Jersey, which is basically like suburban New York City.
And it says
So
a
you
lot
have
that
to
the
find out.
Knicks have been horrible for
Yeah,
decades.
look, Kyrie is a guy that's got guts. He's got heart. He likes the big stage.
He believes in
he-
himself.
exactly. He would seem to fit there. But the question, based off what you said, okay, what if LeBron James, his group, contacts Boston and says, we'd like to meet with you? And if LeBron James wants to play in Boston, would you trade Kyrie Irving? Because that obviously would probably be a prerequisite. I think LeBron would be willing to play with Kyrie, but
I don't
vice
think-
versa, it wouldn't. So
I'm not so sure that Kyrie wouldn't be willing to play with LeBron. I don't think he wants to.
exactly. Okay, if
But
he had to,
if
But
he-
if LeBron came, he
wants out.
wouldn't be there, right?
That's what I'm saying. Well, he
So you're
could,
saying-
but you could trade Gordon Hayward for LeBron straight up in a sign and trade. Keep
See, I
Kyrie.
wouldn't do it.
I'm just saying I think it has to be one or the other. Would you give up Kyrie to get LeBron?
If I'm Danny Ainge, I say, with LeBron, we're going to go to the championship, but we won't win. So I wouldn't make that move.
Oh,
Wow. No.
So you think they have I'm gonna challenge you on that. The Boston Celtics have a better chance of winning it with Kyrie Irving and this group than with LeBron James and that same group.
I would take Kyrie in this group. I would.
You just don't like
No,
LeBron.
that's
you just
what?
that don't make no sense.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You
That don't
said
make
you,
no-
I just
you
saw-
believe LeBron James
You can't
is
even
the
say that
second
with a
best-
straight
saw-
face.
Don't you think LeBron
Yes.
James is the second best player
But
of
he's
all
also
time?
long in the tooth, and we just saw.
He's not that long in the tooth.
We just saw the Celtics with no stars, a starless Celtics team, push LeBron James to a 7th game.
With-
it was nip and go.
Who's the best player in the
and
world
wait a minute,
right now?
they lost. LeBron James, but they lost.
Rob, I think you just like to rile him
Then
up.
how could you
Celtics
not
lost.
want him?
You know why?